Hello, and welcome to week 5 of the last 60 days challenge. And today we are going to talk about one of my favorite topics, which is money. And today is also Black Friday. If you are in US, today is the day after Thanksgiving. We are in the season of spending money. So you may be like, this is not the time I want to talk about money. But I specifically put the money topic in today because I want you to start looking at money in a different way. So here we are not going to talk about the what I call the physical ways of money. So the way I see is that everything, just like your body and soul, everything has a physical part and a more of a spiritual side of it. So a physical part of money would be like the strategies on how to save or invest or do this and that. Like this is the physical part of money. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the spiritual side of money, the belief systems that you have around money, because I've found by talking to a lot of people that have money and by talking to a lot of people that does not have money, and then talking to a lot of people who did not have money and then start having money, I found that the what I call the spiritual side, but the mindset around money is 95% of the reason why somebody does or does not have money. Um, and once we are able to rewrite those beliefs, the circumstances start to change and we start to take action into doing what we need to do in the physical, in the investing, in the savings, in the paying off debt, or whatever it is. But until we change our beliefs, we cannot do that. Because if you know by now, if you know anything about our mind, is that 95% of our actions are decided by our subconscious mind. We are pretty much like animals, okay? We are animals. So if we want to change our actions, we have to change our subconscious mind. Just thinking a different thought is the beginning, but it's not the full solution, right? And that's where we are going to go with the money today. And it may be a little painful, but the goal of this week is to give you a new perspective about money. Okay. So I want to start off by saying that money is a resource. Money is neutral. Money is not good or bad, but money shows what is inside of us. So one example of we can look at it is when you have an ingredient, like let's say onions, and you have two people making food with onions. So you may have a great chef, Chef Ramsay, making French onion soup with onions, and it will taste amazing. It will taste delicious. Even the people who does not like onions or French onion soup will try that and say, "Oh my, this is amazing." And then you have me, a person with very challenging abilities on the kitchen in the kitchen. And most likely, and I do love onions. I'm just using this as an example, okay? Most likely I will put way too much raw onions on something and it's going to taste terrible, right? So the onion is not the problem. The ability of the chef is the problem. Money is the same thing. If you give money to a good person, a good person will do so much more good with that money. And if you give money to a bad person, the bad person will do so much worse with that money. So the problem is not the money, the problem is the person behind the money, right? But many of us have a belief that money will change you, will turn you bad. And that's a terrible belief to have because your subconscious mind, as a protection system to keep you safe, does not want you bad. So it will make you take all the actions to never have any money. Okay. And all of us, we learn all of our beliefs about money from an early age. So you can find most of your beliefs around money based on your parents, your the people who raised you, what their beliefs are, and the culture around you. So if this is the first episode you're listening from this challenge, I highly recommend you go and binge the other episodes, because even though they're individual and you can listen to this episode and understand everything, I give you concepts of how our mind works, and transformation of the mind, and biblical view of the mind, and science view of the mind, and all that in episodes. So it kind of builds on each other. So if you can go back and watch the other ones, that will be great. But for the sake of you understanding this episode now, I want you to remember that your culture, when I talk about culture, I'm not saying like something far away from you. I'm saying the bubble around you. So, the culture of the region you live in. Do you live in a big city? Do you live in a small town? Do you live what part of the world, what part of the country you live in? What is the culture of that area? Are you from a religious family, non-religious family? What is the culture inside of your church? What is the culture inside of the college you went to? So I'm talking about like the very small circle around you. What is the culture of your family? I'm not worried about Hollywood, because as much as we believe that Hollywood is changing our mind and there is a place for that, what really builds our mind is the little circle around us. So our money beliefs come from our parents, the people who raised us, our grandparents, our aunts, uncles, whoever is close to you as you're growing up, our school, our church, our town, our neighborhood, like what is going on around those people in those areas is what forms our money belief. So if you want to know what is in your subconscious mind, you just look around of these very people around you and see how they're handling money, and you're going to start to see correlations of how you think about money. And that will kind of be an entryway for you to change that, because the whole reason why this podcast exists in the first place is to share with all of you how we don't have to take all of our beliefs that were given to us as kids as a death sentence and leave unhappy for the rest of our lives. Paul writes, and the Bible writes this over and over again, but I love this verse on Romans 12, to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. We have to transform our minds so we can live the abundant life that Jesus has for us, right? So this podcast is all about transforming our mind, and there is ways that we can do that. But the first step in the transformation is to recognize, to have awareness of our issues, what needs to be transformed, because we cannot transform a blind spot. God cannot heal what we don't reveal. So we have to see where the problem is so we can change that and have that transformation. Okay. So it's really, really important. And I've worked with a lot of people in their money mindset. It's one of my favorite topics. And I end up working with a lot of people on that. And I find that the longest we take to accept that the limiting beliefs we have, and to understand them and accept, I'm not saying like accept them as truth, but accept that we have those beliefs, it will easier and faster will be to change. As long as we hold on the idea, I don't have that, I don't think that, but deep down you know you do, it longest will take to change those beliefs, and longest will take it to change your financial situation. So I'm just going to tell you a couple things that when I first heard, it hurts, but I love you and I have to tell you the truth, because love is telling the truth is part of love, right? So if you really want to know where your money beliefs are, Just look at your money situation. Your money situation is 100% reflection on your deep beliefs about money and your deep programming about money. If you want to change your money situation, you have to change your beliefs. You can get another job, you can get a raise, you can win the lottery. And in just few years, you're going to go back to where you are, and you can research. You can go on Google right now and research how the majority of lottery winners go bankrupt in just few years, because it doesn't matter how much money it comes to you if your beliefs are not of abundance, if your beliefs are limited, which 99.9% of us have limiting beliefs about money because we live in a society where scarcity is the biggest fear. So you're not alone on that. Matter of fact, we are all together on that. Um, there's no shame that we have those beliefs. So let's break that shame first and just accept that we are just part of a collective that lived and grew on a fear of scarcity, but we are allowed to change, and we have the power to change. The Holy Spirit gave us the power to change. So we have to understand that if, unless your money situation is exactly where you want to be, you're like, okay, this is the life I want to live. Like, I look at my bank account, I'm happy. I look at my income, I'm happy. I look at my savings, I'm happy. Like, if you're in that situation, you can turn this podcast episode off and go enjoy your life. But if you are not in this situation, if you were thinking, oh, I need to either make more money or save more, or I need to pay that, I need to just somewhat get my financial crap together, then this episode is for you. Because if you are not in an ideal situation, it's because there are beliefs out there that are controlling your actions. And once again, those are usually blind spots. We don't know we have them. We really think that we want to make that progress, right? And I'm going to give you some examples. I'm going to jump into examples because I can sit here and talk about this for 32 hours. So this is one thing that we have to understand, right? That our beliefs are 100% shown in your financial situation of today, right now, not tomorrow, not when you get your next paycheck, and not yesterday either, but today, right now. And the second thing is, which when I heard, it was what hurted me the most. And it's going to be connected to every single episode we had in this challenge so far. It's that our net worth is a reflection of our self worth. So we go right back to that topic of not loving ourselves, not treating ourselves with respect, and that very belief that we are unworthy, that we are unlovable, is what causing us to be broke. So I could just stop it here and give you a bunch of journal prompts, but I have way more to give it to you. Okay, I know this is painful, but that's part of the process. We're going to bring those beliefs up. And this week, your job will be to recognize which one of those beliefs you have, so we can bring it, reveal them to God. Like, God cannot heal what we don't reveal, right? So we're going to reveal it to God. And through the meditations, through the prayers, through the journal prompts, we're going to ask God to transform our mind, to allow us to go from scarcity to abundance. So we have to believe that there's no scarcity in God. Scripture tells us this over and over again. There's no scarcity of love. There's no scarcity of grace. There's no scarcity of provision. There's no scarcity of wisdom. There's no scarcity in God whatsoever. And that includes money. That includes resources. If there is no scarcity in God, there's no money and resources scarcity in God. So I know that is a conflicting message, because for those of us who are Christian, or whichever faith you put yourself in, but you do have a relationship with God. You're like, okay, I have a relationship with God, and I am still in a scarcity. I still have more bills than money in the end of the month. That does not mean that you don't have a relationship with God and that God does not love you and that you're not saved or whatever, where you are on your faith journey. That only means that you have the free will to choose how you want to live your life. God gave us the free will since the beginning, okay? And we as humans have the habit of choosing the wrong choice. Since chapter 3, if you read scripture, since chapter 3, we've been choosing more the wrong choice than the abundant choice. Okay, so once again, you're not alone in this, we're all together. What we need to learn is to build that connection with the Holy Spirit. That's why we have that work of prayer and meditation, so we can get the guidance to transform our minds and start taking actions that will support the abundance that God has for us, instead of continue to take actions that will support the scarcity, not because God want to give us a scarcity, but that's our free will, and we are end up choosing that not because we want to choose that. I know that can be frustrated. You were like, I'm not choosing that. I want to be pay all my bills. I know you want to. Your conscious mind want to, but your subconscious mind carry those beliefs, and it's trying to keep you safe. And keeping you safe means keeping the beliefs that you and your family have been carrying for generations and generations. Okay, so let's move on. I am going uh, to teach you how we will write this blueprint in your mind. And once again, the blueprint that you have right now is exactly where you are financially. Okay, this is your blueprint. So for you to rewrite this blueprint, you have to recognize the beliefs that you have that are not serving you financially, the limiting beliefs that you have, the beliefs you have about money, the beliefs that you have about people with money, the beliefs that you have about how to make money. And then once you bring those beliefs to light, you recognize that they're a lie, because the truth is that God is abundance. There's no scarcity in God. So the limiting beliefs, the scarcity beliefs, are a lie, and we replace them with the truth. It's the same for any other transformation process we have, okay? The hard part here is to find which beliefs we have that are causing us to be where we are financially, right? So here I'm going to give you 7 ways, and they're not limited to 7, there are way more, but for the sake of time, I'm going to give you 7 ways that limiting money beliefs show up in our lives. Okay, so number 1, we use debt to stay stuck. And I know you're like, I hate being in debt. I do not want to be in debt. How am I choosing that? Well, if we believe that money is the root of all evil, if we believe that money makes people bad, if we believe that money will make you greedy or dishonest, only dishonest people have money, then our subconscious mind will protect us and keep us away from money. And if we have an income and we have money coming in every month, and we know that, a great way to protect us from growing that money and investing and becoming financially stable and financially comfortable is to keep us in debt. So we need a better car, we need a better house, we need to go shopping and buy thousands of dollars of Christmas presents for our kids that they're just going to get rid of in 3 months because it's going to be a mess all over the house. So we need quotation fingers, all those things that will keep us in debt, but that's actually a limiting belief coming out saying, let's use that to stay stuck. So number 2, we have resistance to set financial goals. when you think about it, okay, how much, let me ask you this question. How much money do you want to make in 2025? And then if you have resistance to set financial goals that will improve your life, that will put you in a situation that will be more comfortable, that you will be able to be more generous, that you will be able to give a better life to the people around you. If you have resistance to that, there are limiting beliefs underneath it. And I'm going to tell you what, there are seven, I'm going to list you seven. There are way more, but not all people have all those. So you may have one and you may not have the other. And that will kind of show, and those actions that I'm giving you now, like using that to stay stuck, having resistance to set financial goals, they're not the belief. They're just a symptom. So if you do any of those, you know that there are beliefs underneath them. Okay. So, number three, you believe that you're not a good money manager. You believe, well, if I become a lottery winner, I will not be able to handle all that money. Or if I do get a better job and I have a pay increase, I'm not going to be able to handle that money. Like, do you believe you're a good money manager? If you don't, there are limiting money beliefs underneath that symptom. Number four, you are thinking you're dreaming too big, that you shouldn't have that much or you don't deserve that much. So when you think about it, and I've done this exercise with a lot of people, I'm like, okay, close your eyes and imagine what would be you living the abundant life that God has for you. And if people are so resistant to go anywhere beyond where they are because they think that if they get more, they don't deserve that. They shouldn't have it. They shouldn't have that much. They're dreaming too big. So if that's you, there are negative money beliefs underneath that symptom. Oh, this next one's a big one. You think you have to work really hard for money. I had that one. I grew up with that one. I come from a family that did not have many resources from Brazil, South America. And my dad is the hardest worker person in the room. He would work, he still does, but when I was little, he would work from, I mean, I would wake up, he was already left for work. I would go to bed, he was already being, he would not have came home from work yet. He would work weekends. He worked so hard. And he did give us a good life. We went to great schools. We had way more opportunity. But I really connected any good income with working really hard. So that builds a set of beliefs inside of us that it just go through all the other areas of our lives, right? So if you believe you have to work really hard for money, there are beliefs under there that needs to be revealed. Okay. And I'm not saying that you're going to sit in your couch and money is just going to come to you. It could. I'm sure you know somebody that this happened, but that's not the common. We all have to work for the money in a way of exchanging our talents, exchanging our abilities for money. That's just part of how God designed the world. The problem is not that. The problem is when we believe we have to work so hard, that we have to give so much more than we receive. And that will show in ways like you are working more than everybody else on your company or on your team, and you're getting paid less than other people that are doing the same job and working less hours. That will show up in ways like you don't think you deserve to rest. If you don't have all your bills paid, you need to be working the whole time. Even if you're sick, like if you're sick, you are not taking the day off because you have to work and you have to make that money. So that will show up in unhealthy ways. Okay. So another one, you have fear of visibility. You don't want to be a show off. You don't want people to see you. One way that this shows is like you don't ever want to be a salesperson. You don't ever want people to look at you and thinking that you're trying to sell to them, right? You have fear of visibility. You have fear. The number one fear in the world is public speaking. The number two is death. So a lot of people would prefer to die than to speak in public because fear of visibility is a big fear. And the reality is that for you to make money, you have to be sharing your talents and your gifts with other people. And the more people you share your talents and your gifts with, the more money you make. So it's just once again how God designed the world. You give your talents, you give your gifts, and then you get resources in exchange of that, right? So that fear of visibility is another way that it's another symptom of beliefs, negative beliefs about money. And then one more, you refuse to be rich. You refuse it. I know people who have a lot of money, and if you ask them, they completely refuse that they have that money, that they dress themselves terribly, they like eat very simple food, and not because they're simple, because they want to refuse anything that may show that they have money. And that is rooted in beliefs like money is evil, or that um, if you have money, you are greedy or you are dishonest, and beliefs that way. Okay. So if you have any of those symptoms, and there are way more, just for the sake of time, I'm giving you 7 to work with. There are beliefs down there that you need to reveal it, you need to bring it to light so you can transform your mind and replace it with the truth. Okay. And you may be listening to this and you're like, okay, I don't have any of those. I am perfect, but my bank account is still not where I want to be. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I worked with some people that, even though we can go through all those things, they still choose not to bring their money beliefs to light. Okay. So if that is you and you're like, I don't have any of this. My beliefs about money. I believe that God is abundant, and I believe that money is available for me. And but my bank account's still not showing this. I want to do a quick exercise with you. I'm going to say some cultural thoughts, and you're going to fill in the blank with me. Okay? So the first one is money doesn't grow on trees. Yeah, most of you know that one, right? Money is the root of all evil. Rich people are greedy. Rich people are selfish. You have to work hard to make what? You have to work hard to make what? Money. Money, what does money do to people? Money changes people. Can you be rich and a good person? You can be rich and a good person. Oh, this one. It's Is it polite to talk about money? Should we be talking about money? No, it's not polite to talk about money. What happens if you spend your money? If I spend money, I will lose it all. Oh, this one more. This one, everybody knows it. Money does not buy happiness, right? So if you look at all of those things, there is a little seed of truth in some of them, but in an overall, they are a lie. So let's think about money doesn't buy happiness, for example. The only thing, and I'm going to say something that it will be uncomfortable for many of you to hear, but the only thing that money buys is happiness. Money does not buy all happiness. Money does not solve all of our problems. But money does solve problems. Money does buy happiness. If your kid, if you have kids, any kids, you know that as soon as that kid waking up on December 25, they're going to run into that Christmas tree and they are going to be happy to find whatever it is down there. If you have ever been hungry or if you have ever fed the hungry, you'll see how happy that person is to eat that meal. If you have ever felt cold or clothed the naked, I'm going to say the naked, but clothed the poor, people who does not have money to buy a winter jacket in the cold, if you have ever done that, you will know how happy those people are to get that jacket. So saying that money does not buy happiness is a lie. Money does not buy all happiness, but the only thing that money buys is happiness. The only thing that money does is solve problems. When you pay that electric bill, you better believe that that money is solving your problem. When you have a flat tire and you have to buy a new tire for your car, you better believe that money is solving your problem. Okay? So the beliefs that we have that money does not buy happiness, that money is evil, that the money is evil. I had an experience with a client once and she came to me, she bought a coaching package and she was really frustrated because she worked really hard, her husband worked really hard, and they couldn't, like, they would get their paycheck, everything would be gone, a lot of things would happen in their lives that they would have to spend money that were not planned. And you may find yourself in this situation, like you get in a car accident or your car breaks down or there's an unexpected bill or somebody gets sick and needs to go to an emergency room. Like those things happen, right? It's life. So she had a lot of those things happening at once and she was frustrated. And then I asked her the first thing, okay, so when you think about money, what do you think money is? And she answered right away, money's evil. I know money's evil. And I said, okay, so that's why you don't want it in your home. You don't want it close to you. You don't want it close to your husband. You don't want it close to your kids, because if money is evil, do you want evil close to you? And then she looked at me and she's like, oh, yeah, I never thought this way. So if you have a belief that money is evil, your subconscious mind's job, remember, it's to protect you. And if you have a belief that you should not be close to evil, if you have um, any type of religious belief that evil is, you know, evil is bad. Like I'm a Christian, so I look at evil, I'm like, evil is bad. We need to stay away from evil, right? So if you have that type of belief, and you think that money is evil, you're going to stay away from money. And your subconscious mind will do everything that needs to be done for you to stay away from money, and will bring in experiences in your life where you're going to be spending that money instead of putting in um, either an investment or a savings account or pay debt that you shouldn't have had in the first place, right? So and that belief that money is evil is based on a incorrect translation, not just translation, and the scripture is not even money is evil in the first place, is for the love of a mammon is the root of all evil. And some of the English translations were translated to the love of money is the root of all evil, but mammon is way bigger than money. Mammon is a spirit that tells us that we don't need God because we have X, Y, and Z. X, Y, and Z can be anything, not just money. If you have a pantry full of food, You are probably not praying and asking God for your daily bread right now, because you can open your pantry and there's probably 32 different types of bread there. Okay, maybe not 32, but you may have bread and crackers and stuffing. All right, so you have different kinds of bread there. So you're not praying for your daily bread. Naturally, we think that if we have it put up, we don't need God. And we will never say that, but that's how our subconscious mind understand. Oh, I don't need God right now because I have this. The same happen with like a savings account. If you have a savings account, a lot of people think, oh, I'm good, I have this savings account. Well, if you really understand that all the resources are energy, right, the way God created, it can come and go. The Bible talks about that all the time. Like, people will save, it talks about the man who saves all his grains in a barn and the barn burns down, right? So the same can happen to your pantry or your savings account. That's why our source of everything we have is God. But a lot of us think that our source is our job, our clients, our, you fill in the blank. Okay. So we put our trust on something else, and that's what this verse is talking about. The love of mammon is the root of all evil, which is the love of the need of having that security is the root of all evil. Okay. But it's being translated to money, is being preached incorrectly. Remove the love and just say money is the root of all evil, and then people just understand money is evil, and then we are here try to undo this lie and replace with the truth. The truth is that God is our source and provider of all things we have, and God is abundant. So God has no desire for you and I to put faith on our income or our savings account. God has a desire for us to put faith in his provision. But that doesn't mean that we need to believe that God is scarce, because we know the truth that God's abundant. Okay, so that is just a little rant on the whole incorrect teaching of money is evil. But we can and we will need to break it down, every single one of the beliefs we have that are a lie about money, about the resources, about us living the abundant life that God has for us. And for some of you, maybe even listening to this, like the world, the word, sorry, my accent, the word abundance. I know people that are uncomfortable just with that word. So you know that there are beliefs there about that word. And if you look at John 10:10, Jesus is saying he came so we can have like life and have it more abundantly. Okay, so it is what God is. Abundance is what God is, and abundance is what God has for us. But we feel uncomfortable because we are programmed with limiting beliefs about abundance, about money, and we are programmed with a strong belief about scarcity. And I'm just going to close with this. Scarcity is what caused all the issues in the world. I truly believe that scarcity is where it's what Genesis 3 is talking about. Not just a scarcity of money, but a scarcity of everything. Wars only happen because the belief in scarcity. We only take advantage of people because we believe in scarcity. We believe that there's not enough love and grace and provision for everyone in the world. So we need to protect ourselves and ours, our family, our friends. So because we believe in the scarcity, we believe that there's not enough for everyone, we want to build walls instead of building bigger tables. Okay, and this is not a political statement, this is a scripture. We need to change our belief in scarcity, because this is reflecting how we live our lives. And once again, money is just one of the resources, because really there are people that have money and the rest of their life sucks. And I know you may not know them in person, but I know you know some of the public figures that you can think about it right now. They have a lot of money, but their life sucks, because money alone will not give us the abundant life. The abundant life, the root of the abundant life is actually love. And then love brings health, happiness, resources for us, for those around us, and make us generous so we can give for those in need. And that brings love and happiness to them. So it has a ripple effect. And that's the abundance of God. Not just having a huge savings account. Once again, God has no desire of us having security on a savings account. Okay. So I know this is a lot. I know this is like a drinking from a fire hose of money mindset. So you may need to go back and listen to this episode, take few notes. But your real work this week will be to bring it to light some of those beliefs that you have, and start working on recognizing that they're lies and replacing them with the truth. And then once you start doing that, new opportunities are going to show up in your life. And the truth is that they were always there, but you couldn't see it because your subconscious mind were closing your eyes to it to keep you safe. Okay, so as you erase some of those beliefs, new opportunities are going to start to come in. But here's the thing though, our soul is our mind, our will, and our emotions. Those opportunities are going to come in, but unless your will, your action is different than what it always been, just having a new thought will not change your financial situation. You will need to do things differently. Coming from this new thought, this truth of abundance, and then your actions and your emotions will reflect that. Okay, so this is the process. You're not going to listen to this one time and become a millionaire tomorrow. That's not how it works. You are going to start this process of revealing and replacing the lies with the truth. Okay, so I hope this help you today. I will give, if you have not signed up to the challenge, sign up. The link is in the show notes. It's completely free, and you will get a list of journal prompts for this week that will help you bring it to light some of those beliefs you have. Also, you get a free prayer and meditation that will help you just hear from God the direction, and maybe allow God to reveal to you some of those beliefs that are deep down in your heart that is being um, given to you by generations and generations, which the Bible also talks about this, how we get all these generational beliefs. Some people call it generational curses, but it's all beliefs in our mind too that can be replaced with the truth. We have the Holy Spirit that allow us to do that. So if you sign up, you get all this stuff. It's all free and will really be helpful in your journey. Okay. And if you're listening to this in the week of Black Friday, I also have a Black Friday special going on right now, all the way to Cyber Monday, December 2nd. And you can get a 90-minute one-on-one call with me for a very discounted price. A lot of you are saying that this work in the challenge is amazing, but you do need kind of a one-on-one time with me to discuss more personal things. So this is your opportunity for you to get that for a very discounted price. I will put the link in the show notes too, so you can go ahead and get that. So today's Friday is going all the way through Monday. Okay, and then we get that schedule and we can move forward with your personal things that maybe you need somebody to discuss with and to coach you into that transformational process. Okay, I love you guys, and I hope you have a great day and a great week. Bye bye.